about our favorite books from
2022. And I know we're a bit late.
Yeah, we have a good excuse. All right, so we filmed this. It was our first time setting up a beautiful studio. We were going to crank out all this content with candles that matched, the whole thing. And then we recorded it and totally goofed up the volume. It was all effed. Like, not usable at all. It was so bad. In fact, we should almost like pause and make sure it's still good before we film this again.
100% do that.
Yep. And then we're like, all right, it's cool. That was terrible. We'll just film it again on Monday. And on Sunday, the house had a gas leak explosion. Yours truly was in it. Yes, I'm physically okay. Mentally, that's a little questionable, but it was questionable from the beginning. We'll link the video that I built about that in the description below. But for now, shall we get into books from 2022?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, shall we cover the first book?
The Art of Gathering by Priya Parker. Isn't the cover gorgeous? Like, it's just a beautiful book.
So why did you bring this book into our lives?
Well, I love gathering.
Well, do you remember the coaching call specifically? It was closure to a cohort, and you made me read the last chapter of the book.
Yes.
Before I'd read any bit of the book.
Yeah.
So describe that, because that was pretty cool. We were thinking about how we spend all this time thinking about the beginning of events, but we don't spend time thinking about the end and closure of milestones. And we're really big on celebrating wins. It's one of our 3 core values. Mm-hmm. So you have anything you would want to add about that?
Yeah, so this book really talks about how we intentionally gather, which includes how we open events and how we close events. And it's just so beautiful to know that you send out, like, events start way before you actually gather people. So what are you doing to invite? And then same with closing. How are you closing to make sure that your guests, the people that you've gathered, really feel this deep connection and then can move forward with the rest of their evening or their lives, really feeling connected and sacred in their space.
Yeah, not feeling like you just gave them a logistics run.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, book number 2, Breath by James Nestor. We have Alex's husband to thank for this book because he would not shut up about it when we were on a camping trip. So many interesting stats. And finally I realized I'm just going to have to read the book so he'll stop telling us to read the book, right? And it absolutely is transformative. Probably the standout stat for me is this. You get 18% more oxygen into your body when you breathe through your nose, not our mouth. As an athlete, 18%, that's pretty sizable gains. So when I'm out Nordic skiing or biking or whatever, I just try to really bring that, get it in through my nose. The other thing, basically the punchline, is that we need to breathe through our nose, folks. And so it really makes a big difference in managing our stress levels, which we all deal with. What I really appreciate about Alex is how she opens up our coaching calls. Can you add how we often do breathing meditation?
Yeah, so kind of in the same vein of Priya Parker and James Nestor, when we enter a new space, we have this opportunity to gather and intentionally connect. And so we find that we can do that really, really well through breath. And so he teaches a couple of different breathing exercises. One of them is to breathe in shorter through your inhale and then longer through your exhale. That allows you to get out of that fight or flight and into this space where you can be focused and present. And so we do a bunch of that plus other stuff to welcome all of our community members to our coaching call. And it's just really beautiful to breathe together.
It is. Sets the intention, because usually on coaching calls you want to just be listening in and not for our people. We're all present.
Yeah.
Okay, the other book, we don't have it right now because in the house explosion, it's among the piles of glass. Or maybe we just don't have it right now.
We don't know where it is.
But we don't really know where it is. But it's an awesome book. And it's Decolonizing Wealth. We'll add a screenshot so you can see what it looks like. This book, I did 3 cohorts this last quarter. 2 of the 3 were for Indigenous organizations in Canada and Alaska. And it was so beautiful working with these organizations and the amazing work they're doing to have Indigenous-led research and Indigenous-led initiatives drive the change that they want to see in their community and more broadly. And that book was very eye-opening to sort of the colonial saviorism type narrative that is very common in foundation type funding, just grant funding inherently. It's us saving you, right? And so it was very illuminating, and it's a very important trend I want grant writers, modern grant writers, to be tracking, because the most progressive, most interesting foundations are going in this direction, and all of the others will eventually catch up as well, thank goodness. But this is something to kind of start wrapping your mind around the injustices that our organizations that you're often working with are facing and how we can look at decolonizing wealth. It was fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, so here we are.
Yes, my next favorite book of 2022 was Crazy Brave by Joy Harjo. She is the first Indigenous poet laureate, and she's gorgeous. Like, the writing is just insanely beautiful. And what I just loved about this book is it's her autobiography, but it's written through time and space as if it's not linear, which, it can be debated, right? And it's just a beautiful weaving of her life story, and it just, it was beautiful.
It's a good one. It was the only one of the whole stack I have not read. Usually Alex and I are quick to be tossing our books back and forth. All right, next one. Am I missing one that we were going to talk about?
Yeah, We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rogers.
Yes.
Which we also forgot, but that was just because it's on my bedside table and I forgot it.
It's such a good stat. It really inspired and transformed our lives. That book came to us through the Unicorns, have a unicorn-led book club in the collective. It's so rad. That's how I first got exposure to the book. I go to Money Church on Wednesday mornings. There's so many good things that she drew out of us. Honestly, I swear a third of the coaching I do is getting women to charge more for their services. Yeah. It's a huge piece of, and men too, actually. So it's a big piece of this picture of how we close the gender pay gap, let alone what that experience is like for people of color and different backgrounds. So it's just been a fantastic book. Like, you have to go read it. She even actually has an online course about it now. She just launched.
Yeah, it's I don't know anything about the course.
That pop out for you?
I'm not going to remember a stat offhand today, but what I will say is she talks a lot about the time buyback principle and how that it can apply in multiple stages of your life. So even if you don't have a ton of money right now, that's extra.
What's a time buyback for you?
One of my time buybacks is so Valdez gets a lot of snow, and if you've been following on Instagram, you know I talk about this time buyback a lot. But, like, there is no way that I am spending my time plowing snow. Like, I don't find any enjoyment of it. It's not meditative. It is, like, just plain annoying to me. So, for my joy and sanity and the fact that I don't spend hours plowing my very, very long driveway, I would rather pay someone to plow all day long.
And so this is how we're different, because my little Wyoming roots loves operating the Bobcat skid steer. I actually enjoy shoveling. I think it's a great workout, clears my head. And so I don't pay for that to be done, and I handle it. Not to say I haven't regretted that at times this winter, but on the whole, it's okay.
Yeah.
But what I value that Alex doesn't need to pay for is I hated how I'd be working a long day and I would never have a plan for a healthy lunch. So finally, after years of wanting this, I found someone local. She cooks really healthy, gluten-free, dairy-free meals, and she makes me lunches. 4 lunches a week. And honestly, there's so much food in there, I get like 8 meals out of it. It cost me $300 for a whole month plus of food, right? That's cheaper than what it would have been for me to go to the grocery store to make those meals. So there's a lot of times things seem like they're out of our reach, or I can't afford this or that to make my life better. But it has been transformative, because now literally we've just a very busy day, and you saw it, I just threw in my meal and heated it up, and then bam, there you have it. Yeah. That was amazing. Okay, read the book. Last one that we want to talk about, Pedia, a comprehensive guide. Written by my best girlfriend, Zoe Mendelson. Now, before your inner, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Your inner worry wart freaks out about the word pussy, hang tight. There's actually a whole chapter about it. This is what makes this book really interesting. She tried on a lot of different words for what to call this book. And ultimately what, arrived that this really is the best word to describe it. And the thing that's so fascinating about it is that the amount of research done on women's bodies would blow your mind how limited it is to male bodies, because most tests that are happening, they don't want to have it with basically anyone that's it has a period. And so that leaves out 2/3 of the woman's lifetime experience. Yeah. So there's just a really, really, really fascinating research that's been done. She really backed this up and beautiful graphics. I learned a ton about how the woman's body works and male body works. And I just think it's an incredible resource that you should be giving not just your daughters or yourself, but even the men in your life.
Yes.
Okay, but there's a bonus book if you haven't read it. You want to get it?
Sure. Guess what it is?
I mean, in all fairness, we really did write this book in 2022, so it's kind of rad. It was April of last year. Feels really good. There's now a hardcover available.
It's very pretty.
And Alex wrote 2 chapters that are in this book, which is really fun. And then I did the rest of them. It was amazing. So if you haven't read that book yet, you should certainly go get a copy. Or more importantly, will you please leave a review?
Yeah. Yep.
And then eventually for 2023 or 2024, we do want to write a book together. So eventually, someday, when we feel like we're ready, we'll do that. Mm-hmm. Any books that you're looking forward to for right now?
Oh, I'm reading White Supremacy and Me.
Yes.
We went through a intense where we did it every single day with a group. And now we get to kind of revisit it in a more slow fashion. So I'm loving that. And I just read, now I'm going to forget it's a book about a potato farm by Ruth Ozeki. And she is wonderful. And it's fictionalized, but it talks about the GMO and potatoes and just how we're killing different species of vegetables. And that was really... That's totally up my alley.
Of course, like depressing reading before bed.
I know. Yeah, I'm not going to give that to you, but I think I might gift it to someone at one of my favorite coffee shops. It's a local organic place, and
nice.
I think he's going to like it.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the book I'm reading is by John McPhee. He's an amazing author, my very favorite. His writing is so beautiful, and he has some short stories about Alaska, right when the pipeline was coming here, which is here in Valdez. It's just this very beautiful writing style. I love it. The book I think I'll close with that I just put into my backpack so we can ship it out to my sister is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Jen Sincero, I don't know how you say her last name. That book really changed my life. That was also a book club book. Just realizing, okay, the world really does operate on vibrations. Yeah. And if I want great things to come in my life, I need to elevate those and sustain them and not plow ourselves into the ground and just kind of wear ourselves down a little bit more every day, like teeth grinding. Yeah. So that was a really good one. All right, well, we'll let you know what we continue to read in 2023 or I don't even know what year it is. 2022.
And please let us know what you're reading.
Yes.
So DM us on Instagram, or if you're watching this on YouTube, comment below. We'd love to know your suggestions, your top reads for 2021.
And with that,
we'll
catch you on the next video. See ya.